Welcome back to The Explainer. So today we're unpacking something that honestly totally caught me off guard. For years, the undisputed king of electric vehicles, Tesla, has completely dictated the pace of the entire auto industry, right? They set the bar. But according to the data and analysis we're diving into today, that giant is suddenly playing catch-up. A massive leapfrogging moment has literally just happened, and the catalyst is a Chinese automaker named BYD. We're going to explore the absolutely groundbreaking new technology that made this shift possible, the drastically different business strategies that led to this exact moment, and ultimately, what it all means for the future of the EV market. Okay, let's dive into this. Historically, Tesla had an absolutely massive head start. I mean, think back to when they launched the Model S in 2012. It took legacy automakers a staggering 6 years to offer anything that could even try to compete. And even then, Tesla's charging network was just light years ahead of the pack. They repeated this total dominance in 2017 with the Model 3, basically enjoying over 3 years with absolutely no genuine competition. So moving into the 2020s, the expectation across the board was that Tesla would just extend this massive lead even further with new models and their highly anticipated revolutionary 4680 battery. They seemingly had the market completely cornered. But as the source analysis points out, that anticipated extension of dominance, it simply hasn't happened. Instead, we are witnessing a dramatic market reversal. Tesla's sales have actually faced steep declines as competitors are now offering comparable, or in some cases, slightly better electric vehicle options. But the true tipping point here, the real reason Tesla is suddenly on the back foot, comes down to a massive technological breakthrough from BYD. So let's pivot and look exactly at what this new technology is and why it's shaking the very foundations of the EV industry. The breakthrough driving this whole shift is BYD's second-generation battery chemistry. Specifically, we're talking about the LFP, or lithium iron phosphate short blade variant of their Blade Battery 2.0. BYD is debuting this tech right now in their brand new mass market vehicle in China, the Seal 07. Now, what makes this specific chemistry so incredible is that it retains the exceptionally high safety standards and the super long lifespan that their previous batteries were already famous for, but it unlocks something entirely new: unprecedented rapid charging. This isn't just, a minor incremental update. It is a fundamental leap forward in what an electric vehicle battery can actually handle on a daily basis. To truly understand the impact here, this is the metric that literally stopped me in my tracks: 5 minutes. The 69 kilowatt-hour pack in the BYD Seal 07 can charge from 10% all the way to 70% in just 5 minutes. If you want to push it to 97%, it only takes 10 minutes. To put that into perspective, this means the Seal 07 can complete a normal rapid charge in essentially the exact same amount of time it takes to fill up a traditional gas-powered car at a regular gas station. That is just wild. That blistering speed is driven by a peak charging rate of 1,500 kilowatts. Just a couple of years ago, industry analysts and experts were confidently saying this level of charging capability was, at best, a decade away. Yet here it is, entirely bypassing current standards and firmly putting BYD at the absolute forefront of the industry. They haven't just matched the current standard, they have effectively leapfrogged it, completely shifting the paradigm of what you and I can expect from EV charging times moving forward. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how stark the contrast becomes when we stack these mass-market competitors side by side. BYD didn't put this incredible, lightning-fast battery into some million-dollar hypercar. They put it into a direct competitor to the Tesla Model 3. The Seal 07 is roughly $13,000 cheaper than the equivalent Model 3 in China, which makes the Tesla 54% more expensive. And for that drastically lower price, the BYD charges 5 times faster. Now, while the Model 3 does have a slightly longer range and accelerates a bit quicker, the source really questions if that genuinely justifies such a massive price premium. Furthermore, the Seal 07 comes equipped with BYD's God's Eye system, which the analysis notes has actually been touted as more advanced in CFR than Tesla's full self-driving system. Now, you might be wondering, is this just a product of the intense EV price war that's currently raging in China, with companies like Xiaomi aggressively undercutting everyone? Well, while BYD absolutely has slashed prices to stay competitive locally, the source highlights a much larger, frankly terrifying global implication for their competitors: BYD's gargantuan cost of manufacturing advantage. The analysis suggests that if BYD exported this exact car to the UK, they could slap a $10,000 markup on it and still comfortably undercut Tesla's offerings. This really matters because it means BYD's pricing isn't just a local turf war. It's a structural, global advantage built on deep manufacturing efficiencies that could easily translate into a massive profit margin advantage worldwide. Of course, you know as well as I do that a car capable of charging at 1,500 kilowatts is practically a paperweight if the infrastructure doesn't exist to actually plug it in. But BYD is already solving this. They are aggressively rolling out their own 1,500 kilowatt flash chargers, which are designed specifically for this Blade Battery 2.0. Get this, they already have 4,200 of these stations active in China today, with plans to build 20,000 more by the end of the year. Crucially, this isn't just isolated to their home turf. BYD is actively planning to expand this incredibly powerful network into Europe, the Middle East, and across all of Asia. They aren't just building a revolutionary car, they are actively building the entire global ecosystem required to make it viable. Which naturally leaves us asking, why has BYD been able to take such a catastrophically huge leap forward? I mean, how did they pull this off, making Tesla's technology and pricing look almost outdated by comparison? To understand this market flip, the source material pivots away from the technical specs to examine the deeply contrasting business and research strategies of these two automotive giants. The article draws a really sharp, fascinating contrast between how these two companies approached their in-house battery development. Both recognized early on the massive advantage of building their own batteries, but they took completely, wildly different paths. BYD's strategy was deeply rooted in scientific optimization. They basically spent 6 quiet years researching and refining proven, highly cost-effective LFP cell chemistry and prismatic cell formats. On the flip side, the source characterizes Tesla's strategy, under Elon Musk, as a massive gamble. Instead of refining proven tech, Tesla bet heavily on unproven, risky dry coating technology, which is a notoriously difficult manufacturing process to master, along with the brand new 4680 battery format. And the source article actually leans into a particularly stark quote from the CEO of KTL, who is the world's largest battery maker. Honestly, reading the bluntness of this assessment, I was a bit taken aback. According to the article, the KTL CEO told Elon Musk directly in 2024 that the 4680 battery was going to fail, stating flatly, he doesn't know how to make a battery. It's about electrochemistry. The author of our source uses this quote to argue that hubris, and maybe an unwillingness to listen to industry experts, ultimately led Tesla down a technological dead end, while BYD was just quietly doing the hard scientific graft alongside the experts. So the crucial point is the fallout of this strategic divergence. According to the analysis, Tesla's massive bet on the 4680 battery has essentially resulted in a dead end. Despite literally billions of dollars spent in research and development, the battery is currently only being used to power the Cybertruck. Furthermore, the source notes that production of the 4680, at least as we currently know it, might soon end entirely. The core argument here is that Tesla wasted their massive multi-year head start on an obsolete battery concept, completely squandering that unbelievable industry lead we talked about at the beginning. And the implications of this go so far beyond just BYD beating Tesla in a one-on-one sales race. We are witnessing what you could call a massive BYD ripple effect across the entire automotive sector. BYD is rapidly becoming the foundational technology supplier for the legacy automakers. Toyota has formed a 50-50 joint venture to use BYD tech, meaning the next EV Camry you see could very well be powered by BYD. Ford is finalizing a battery supply deal. Stellantis, the parent company of brands like Jeep and Ram, is moving toward BYD tech. And ironically, honestly, you really can't make this up, even Tesla itself already relies on BYD's first-generation Blade battery to power some of their European Model Ys. Which brings us to a major predicament, Tesla's dilemma. If BYD's new tech is really so vastly superior, why doesn't Tesla just buy the new Blade Battery 2.0 for all their cars and instantly level the playing field? Well, the source explains that Tesla is essentially trapped by its own identity. Tesla's massive, sky-high company valuation is intrinsically tied to the premise that they are the supreme in-house technological leader. If they were to broadly adopt a direct competitor's battery technology, it would essentially be a massive admission of defeat in R&D. The source argues this would severely damage the overarching value and public perception of the entire company. And that leaves us with this final, genuinely provocative thought based on today's source material. Can Goliath survive, or is the era of Tesla over? The explainer we've walked through today paints a pretty clear picture of a giant that rested on its laurels, allowing a highly focused, scientifically driven competitor to completely leapfrog them in technology, pricing, and infrastructure. As BYD's batteries become the absolute industry standard for everyone from Toyota to Ford, the next few years in the EV market are going to be incredibly turbulent. So, Is the era of undisputed Tesla dominance truly over? Or can Goliath find a way to reinvent the battery once again? It's a fascinating question to ponder. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will see you next time.